Some nights, the inside of sleep is darker than sleep itself, and in some moments, even if you open your eyes, nothing changes, because the real darkness isn't outside, it sleeps within you. This story begins on a night just like that. In this video, we'll talk about sleep paralysis and James's terrifying, deeply psychological story. Enjoy the video. James was 29, a normal architect during the day, but at night, he was fighting a war no one knew about. Months of insomnia, endless nightmares, and most importantly, sleep paralysis. Here's when his life turned into a nightmare at first. He didn't care. Everyone experiences it once in their life. After all, you wake up, can't move, and it passes in a few seconds. But what James experienced didn't pass. Seconds turned into minutes. His breath quickened. His heart felt too big for his chest. He first heard a humming sound, and then a dark shadow approached. Every single time, the same thing happened. A presence pressed onto his chest, refusing to let him move. At the beginning, he told himself it was just a hallucination, that he was imagining it. But one night, that presence spoke for the first time. The night's silence turned into sound. James fell asleep quickly that night. He was exhausted. His eyelids grew heavy. His breathing slowed, and he let himself fall into a deep void. But when he opened his eyes, everything was different. His room was the same, but there was no light. No shadows, as if the world had been covered by a colorless veil. He tried to move. He couldn't. He couldn't even move a finger, but that paralysis was stronger than any before, as if his muscles had instantly turned into concrete. He tried to breathe. He could, but the breath felt like it belonged to someone else. It wasn't his. Then suddenly, a whisper appeared right next to his ear. But it wasn't a word, not even a sound, a vibration, as if someone inhaled and exhaled it back into James's ear without turning it into a word. And in that moment, James understood. This wasn't his brain's voice. The brain sometimes sees things the eyes cannot. James tried opening his eyes more carefully. The room was dark, but not like an empty darkness. It felt like someone's shadow had spread across the room. His eyes drifted toward the foot of his bed. There was something there, tall, completely still, a pitch-black silhouette, human-like, but not too tall, too thin. Its neck bent at an unnatural angle, and the worst part, it had no eyes, yet it was staring straight into James's an eyeless gaze that drilled through his soul. James wanted to scream. He couldn't. He wanted to move. He couldn't. All he had was his breath, but even that no longer belonged to him. The sound from the void spoke for the first time. The black silhouette began to move, not by its feet, but by its shadow, as if the floor wasn't a surface for it. It slid however it wanted. When it reached his chest, James felt as if his heart forgot how to beat. The presence leaned down. Its face was pure darkness, but its mouth moved, and its first word wasn't a word at all, a question that entered directly into his mind. "How long have you been waiting for me?" James froze inside. At that moment he realized this presence knew him. Maybe it had been watching him for years. James wanted to scream, but only tears rolled from his eyes. The presence came closer to his face. It had no breath, no scent, but it had. "Wait, you called me," it said that this time. The voice sounded like a human's, but like a very old human, a murky whisper from someone who died hundreds of years ago. Only one thought crossed James's mind. "I didn't call anything." The presence's answer was even more terrifying. The mind calls, even when the mouth doesn't. The dark part of the brain says this to humans sometimes. Suddenly, every sound in the room disappeared. The ticking clock, the neighbor's plumbing, the cars outside, all were gone. Perfect silence. But this silence wasn't from the outside world. It was the silence behind a door that had opened inside the mind, the silence of nothingness. The presence raised its hand. It nearly touched James's forehead, but didn't. The air beneath its hand rippled, and James suddenly was somewhere else. He didn't blink, didn't move, didn't breathe, but the place had changed. It was his room again, but the furniture was wrong. The walls were taller, the ceiling was lower, and outside the window, there was nothing, nothing, as if the world didn't exist. The presence appeared beside him. This is the dark room of sleep. Your room? Your mind? For the first time, James could respond, but he didn't hear his voice. His thoughts spoke. Why did you bring me here? The presence leaned closer. Because you've kept me here for years. You don't remember, but I never left, and the brain reveals a childhood trauma. A vision appeared before James, a 6-year-old child, sleeping in his small room, his mother beside him, a dim nightlight glowing, and little James tells his mother, "Mom, someone climbs on top of me while I sleep. I can't move. It feels like it wants my breath." His mother smiles. She thinks it's just a child's nightmare. But James, now as an adult, understands the truth. What he saw that night was the same presence, the same shape, the same shadowlessness, the same eyeless stare. James's voice shook. "So, you've been here since that night," the presence replied. "Every mind creates its own darkness, and once darkness is created, it never disappears, it only waits. The brain forces people to face the truth." The presence began circling. "James," its words were clearer now, as if it was learning to speak. "People give me different names. Sleep paralysis, nightmare, shadow man. But I am not a name. I am a thing." James swallowed. "What are you?" The presence stopped. Its shoulders moved slightly, almost like a smile. "I am the oldest form of fear. I existed before humans spoke, before fire burned, before humans understood shadows. I lived in them." James wanted to step back, but he didn't even have a body to step back with. Then the brain forces reality back. Suddenly James found himself back in his real room, but the paralysis remained. The presence sat on his chest, a coldness without cold, the coldness of fear. "You thought you'd never see me again, but every night you remembered me. Each time, you called me a little more, and now, I am about to fully wake." James screamed with all his strength. A spark shot through his body. His fingers trembled, his arms loosened, and suddenly, he found himself jumping out of bed. The room felt like it was gasping for air. He could hear the clock again, the passing cars, the heating pipes. Everything returned, everything except the echo inside him, the presence's final words. "You won't only see me in your sleep, you'll see me awake." And sometimes the brain makes humans dream, even while awake. James went to the kitchen to drink water. His hands were shaking. He tried to calm himself. He looked outside through the small kitchen window. It was dark, just an ordinary night. But at the corner of the street, a shadow stood. James blinked. The shadow vanished. He inhaled, tried to relax, drank his water, and went to the bathroom, washed his face, lifted his head, and behind his reflection in the mirror, the presence was there, staring at him from inside the mirror, faceless, eyeless, silent, but this time it didn't whisper. This time it spoke. "Being awake won't save you from me." The brain doesn't joke. And finally, after that night, James went to many doctors, took treatments for insomnia, medications, therapy, IG scans, but no test, no machine, no doctor could record the presence. Because the presence wasn't in the real world, it was in the mind, in the dark room of the mind. And the scariest part, once that room opens, it never closes again. James still wakes up at night, sometimes paralyzed, sometimes not, but every night, When he turns off the light and lies in bed, he hears the whisper, "I'm here. I've always been here." We've reached the end of another story. I recommend staying tuned and leaving a like. Wishing you a good day.